Hello and welcome. I'm Susan, and in today's class, we'll be focusing on moving our spine in a few different directions and positions. Let's start on our hands and knees, so making your way there. Getting your knees underneath your hips, toes can be tucked under or not, and shoulders over your wrists. Start to lift your tailbone, then gently drop your belly towards the floor. Shine your chest forward and lift your gaze. Starting with your tail again, tucking it under, rounding your lower back, then vertebrae by vertebrae up your spine, chin towards your chest. Releasing your tailbone to the ceiling with control, belly to the ground, lifting your chest, your gaze, holding for our breath in. On your exhale, tucking your tailbone, working your way up your spine to your cat pose, pressing away from the floor. Untucking your tail, making your way back to cow. Careful here not to crank your neck back, so let's keep a nice long neck. Continuing back up from your tail to your head, back into cat. Moving with your breath, slowly back to cow. Taking a brief pause here, continuing to breathe. And we'll make our way back up to cat one more time. Before coming back to our neutral spine and moving into a mermaid seat. We'll put our feet off to the left, right foot tucked into our left thigh. Arms will come out to our sides. Lifting our right arm up to the ceiling, breathing in as we take a bend up and over towards our feet to the left. Holding as we exhale. Inhale, we come back up. Exhale, we lower the arm. Left arm reaches up as we side bend over to the right, keeping our chest facing forward. Inhale, we come back up. Exhale, we lower our arm. And we start again on the right side, lifting the right arm up, putting weight through our left arm as we side bend. Inhaling to straighten back up, exhaling to lower the arm. On your next side bend to the right, try to keep the left side of your pelvis grounded. And we'll do one more to the left, moving with our breath. And one more to the right, keeping our pelvis grounded. Now mindfully coming back onto our hands and knees, placing our knees under our hips, wrists under our shoulders. And we'll again move vertebrae by vertebrae, first towards our cow pose. Transitioning slowly into cat, looking towards your belly button as you tuck your chin in. Breathe out here. Now moving with your inhale, allowing your spine to extend into cow, looking forward. As we continue to articulate our spine between cat and cow, I'd like you to really think about moving from your tail to your head, making sure you lift your chest before you lift your head and your gaze, and rounding through the upper back before you tuck your chin to your chest. One last exhale here in cat, then coming through neutral, and we're going to grab a seat into our mermaid seat on the other side. Our feet are going to be off to the right this time, left foot tucked into our right thigh, arms out to the sides. Starting with the left arm coming up, side bending to the right. An inhale is going to bring us back up, lowering that arm. Then a big reach on the right side, placing weight through our left arm. Chest is nice and open, rising up, lowering the right arm. So let's really work on that reach and going up and over as we try to maintain as much of both sides of the pelvis on the ground as possible. Particularly as we go over to the left here, imagine your right sit bone growing roots towards the floor. Bringing that left arm up with an inhale, really reaching for the ceiling before taking that side bend. And stacking the spine to come back up. And we'll just take one more side bend to the left, letting that right side of the pelvis be heavy towards the floor. And rising back up nice and tall. Let's now find our hands and knees position again. As before, knees under our hips, wrists under our shoulders. The difference this time is that we're going to place our left hand across the chest. We'll take a moment just to make sure the chest is lifted up and away from the floor. Then we're going to turn our chest to the left, then reach our arm up to the ceiling, then bring the hand back to the chest before turning our chest back to the floor. So we're going to stay on this side. We're going to make sure our weight is evenly distributed between our legs and our right arm. And every time we turn from the chest first, pressing away from the floor with that right arm. So chest first, then we reach up to the ceiling, maintaining that rotation in the chest. So one last time here on the left side, before we come back onto all fours, taking a breather for a moment. So we'll get going here on the right side right away. Right hand across the chest. Make sure you press away from the floor as you turn to the right. Keep pressing away as you reach that right arm up to the ceiling, and maintain a lift through that left shoulder as you come back to center. So we'll keep going, taking it one rep at a time, focusing on keeping our weight evenly distributed between our legs and our left arm, allowing our chest to really lead the movement. One more repetition here. Coming back onto your hands and knees, starting to walk your hands forward on your mat, sitting your hips back towards your heels, toes are untucked, resting in child's pose. Slowly starting to walk our hands off the left side of the mat, reaching forward, maybe the right hand stacks over the left. Hips sink back to your heels, a little more bias towards your right heel. Breathing into the stretch here on the right side. And we'll slowly start to take it to the other side, walking our hands off the right side of the mat, maybe stacking our left hand over our right, and letting our hips sink towards our left heel. And finding our breath here, helping us stretch out to the left side. And finally walking our hands back to the middle of the mat, finding one more child's pose here at center. Let's keep our awareness on our breath for these last few moments. Slowly starting to slide your hands to your knees and then stacking your spine up to a seated position. And that's our class for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you in another class soon.